Scrimmage number 2 down. Kind of like last week, just very excited to come out of it pretty healthy. Had some guys a little bit here and there with some soft tissue, but nothing of significance, nothing that should take away from our prep for Wyoming. So I thought offensively, again, really Tommy, Art, even RJ got in there and did some stuff. We really tried to put them in all distance and all situations today. We did a lot of move the ball, just let them play football, watch them move up and down the field. Saw some defensive guys make plays. Quan, who in my opinion has had a really, really special spring and fall, made a couple of really nice plays today. At halftime, we did pull some of our guys out offensively. We pulled out Palcho after the first couple series, pulled out Sidney and Chase Brown, pulled Tommy out eventually, pulled on defense Johnny Newton, and Quan and Spoon, just some guys after they played a lot of really good football for us. So it was fun to see some of those younger guys get out there and move it around and mix it up. And then we also involved the kicking game. Caleb Griffin by far hit the ball as good as he's hit it all fall today, and I think he's 100% on all of his field goal attempts, so really good. And he was really knocking it pretty good in the punt game as well. So excited for those guys. With that, open it up.
When you've seen guys in the past have really good camps, when you talk about that, have you seen that usually translate into really good seasons?
Especially kind of like those seniors, right, that have always been. Quan's a really good player, and I just seen him take another jump this year that has been fun to watch. I think he stands out especially. I think Spoon's really played well. Spoon said something the other day. He made a nice play, broke on a ball, and all the offensive guys thought he was stealing a signal, that he knew the play was coming. And I go, why did you know that was coming? And he said, I saw the formation of the boundary. I knew what I was getting to the field. And it just shows he's thinking like a football player. Really at the linebacker spot, C.J. Hart, Tariq Barnes, and Dark Angelo, those three guys, really kind of like three starting inside linebackers that are really playing at a high level. But yeah, those camp indicators usually are good indicators.
How much improvement did you see today from last scrimmage?
I thought, last week we had a little bit of weather, but there wasn't really overly big ball security issues, and today was really good. I thought we caught the ball pretty well. I don't think we had a drop. And then in the kicking game, we caught the ball fairly well in the punt returns, kick returns. So I thought ball security overall is good. We've really been preaching to our guys, right, before you learn how to win games, you have to stop from losing. There were still a lot of things out there we can correct off film, but for the most part, it's pretty clean.
The line is certainly different than last year. We also have experience, but how does it look different?
I think the thing that'll jump out to you, a lot of the NFL scouts when they're coming through, they know my history and what we're all about, just the length of our offensive line. If you just go from left tackle to right tackle, Julian Pro is probably our longest player. And then you throw Isaiah Adams now in at left guard. He's extremely long. He's 6'4", 6'5", but he's got really big length. Pilstrom is very long for a center. A lot of times guys don't have that much length. Pills play tackle, right? I mean, so it shows how long we are there. And then at right guard with Zai or Jordan, whoever's in there. Zai, I think, is actually the longest arm length we have on the roster. And then at right tackle, Palcho's extremely long. So, I just think tackle to tackle, that's going to jump out for sure on the offensive line.
I mean, future length on the line, Mountis might have all of it. But just from talking with him Saturday, he just seems like genuinely excited to be playing football. Palcho said he's kind of been a breath of fresh air.
Oh, yeah. I go back to my first phone call with him. Like, you guys probably met him or talked to him for the first time. He's just got a big personality. He's done a lot of interviews, so my guess is he probably did all right in his interviews. He's very polished, very clean. He's got a good sense of humor. But, we're aware of these freshmen, whether they're coming, Aiden Lawfrey, who's right down the road at Gibson City, or Mountis, who came halfway around the world, right? Those freshmen hit a wall every year, right? And sometimes it happens in week one. Sometimes it doesn't happen until the end of the semester in the spring. At some point it hits them. And Mountis had a little moment, I think, a couple of weeks ago, and it was awesome for me, really fun and enjoyable to sit down and kind of just talk through the moment with him. We knew it was going to happen, and he's just championed it really well.
You've always had good centers, Bret, but how's Pill kind of developed over time since you've gotten here?
So Pill is such a cool story that I didn't realize, right? I knew he was a walk-on tight end, but when I got here, he had already started playing O-line, but his physical development since I've been here is off the charts. And then Bart has really done a nice job. He's done an incredible job just letting Pill play with his feet underneath him, which allows him to generate more power. He really, I think, is playing with a base now that's pretty good. I'm excited. He's a guy, when you're talking about camps, right? He's always been good. I think last spring we weren't quite sure, and now he's solidified himself as our starting center. And we were recruiting a center last spring, and I looked, right. So my last 4 centers had either been drafted in the first or second round. I think the last 5 that it started for me, and then Kramer ends up being, was he the fifth round? Sixth round. So the last 6 centers that started a college football game for me had either been, I think there was 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and a third, and now a fifth, right? And I'm not sure where Pill is in that alignment, but I do think he's an NFL player eventually to at least get a shot.
I know camp hasn't officially broke yet, but at what point do you start game planning for Wyoming?
Yeah, great point. We already did. So we worked Wyoming at least 3 times already, and Indiana as well. So, when we get to Virginia, they'll have a game under their belt, and we'll see their new coaches, their new schemes, their new thoughts. But for Indiana and Wyoming, we're not going to have any film before we play those games. So we've already dived into. We've already made our scouting reports. We've already done all the things we need to do. Obviously, we'll adjust it as we gather news from them on their depth and situations like that. But we've already started.
Coach, how's your routine for the first game changed over the years? Have you done some things different now?
That's a good question. Yeah, so I think my first year we probably started like almost 12 days out, like not quite 2 weeks, but you can over prepare. I really learned that. Ironically, through bowl preparation, Wisconsin went to a bowl game every year that I was there as a coordinator and head coach, and you get that announcement and you start focusing in, and you can almost a little bit get too regimented. You still want to keep some crispness. The kids want to see different things. So I used to go 12, then I went to 10. We would always start the Wednesday before our game, and this because we've got this early prep in on Wyoming, we'll actually start preparation that we just say strictly Wyoming this point forward on Thursday.
And with the second game being Friday instead of Saturday, does that kind of change what you did this year a little bit or not?
Well, twofold. We always take Mondays off, but now because of NCAA rules, we won't have Monday off. We'll practice, so it'll just accelerate. We'll come in, obviously, after Wyoming, watch that on Sunday morning, put it to bed, then we'll come back in the evening, get a good Sunday jump on Indiana, but we've already done prep on them, so it's not like they're hearing it for the first time. And then the Monday will be a Tuesday, the Tuesday will be a Wednesday, the Wednesday will be a Thursday, and there you have it.
Craig Bohl's been around for a while. Do you have any history
I'm a huge fan of Coach Bohl. I don't know when we met, when I was a young buck, back when he was actually at Nebraska, I believe, and just a tremendous coach. We've been on different committees together. He's I think a real football coach, right? Like one of those guys that it is what it is, and he's very he's been giving to the game. He's very involved with the AFCA, our Football Coaches Association. So we've crossed the paths on different committees. I have a lot of respect for him. Just the way they've played the game, no matter where he's been at, has always been solid, good, fundamental football, and it's fun to prepare.
Barry told us after the first scrimmage he was not happy with the tempo, but everything he was not happy with, he anticipated he would not be happy with. Did you get better from scrimmage 2 to from scrimmage 1?
I think that's, any first scrimmage as a coordinator, you're probably never going to be happy with the operation, but there was definitely things that we just needed to work and get through. I think Barry's done a really good job of forecasting what we need to have ready for a game day and what we need to do in practice with just the way for us to practice and to prepare for that moment, the way that sideline communication, to the way it gets to the field, to the way we get corrections, everything improved. That was definitely a lot better improvement today.
Rick Case said he was on his way to Laramie when you called him.
Yeah.
I know the storyline aside, why did you want him? What does he brought to you?
I was really looking for, somebody that could be in that capacity as a return guy, bring value at the wide receiver position. Jay Kaiser and Pat Hamilton came in my office. They were just smiling at what you got, right? Because the portal brings news every day, right? And they're like, well, we found this guy. He's got a lot of really good film, kind of fits that role that you're talking about. And so I watched about 40 plays, did some background research, and I almost waited. I was going to call him the next day, and I'm like, you know what? I got 20 minutes here. Let me give me a break. And I called him, and he's literally driving. I go, where are you headed? He goes, I'm driving to Wyoming. And I'm like, well, let's have a moment about this. So, it's one of those stories of the ages, but he's been a great addition.
I mean, I know you talk about Matthew Bailey quite a bit, but when was the moment where you may saw something in him was like, okay, he could be one of those freshmen?
To be quite honest, when I saw his film back a spring before we even offered him, I saw a guy on film that was making plays all over the place in a variety of different ways, offensively, defensively, in the kicking game, and then a great lesson in evaluation, right? So we were in the COVID time where you could do those one-day evaluations. He was like in the middle of track. He had just stressed almost 2 straight weeks of competition. They were really, and then I think he was practicing football in there as well because that was the COVID spring, right, when everything was kind of jumbled in there. And came here, did really well, didn't run a great time, but we really liked him as a player. And Coach, to be quite honest, coaches just kind of stress him. Coach Embleton and Coach Pat Ryan kept putting him in front of, hey, here's a 4-game edit, here's a 4-game edit. And then I sent Ryan to watch him in January basketball, I guess it was. And he called me, he's like, what are we doing? This kid's an unbelievable athlete. And then fast forward to this summer when we watched one-on-one drills, just his demeanor, his presence, his ability to change direction really jumped out. And then it's just his physical presence, right? He's got a good demeanor to him, but he's also physically very well genetically gifted.
Were you able to get? Oh, go ahead.
You turn over the wide receiver room quite a bit since you've
Yeah.
gotten here. What have you seen from that group, and who's stepping up?
Well, Isaiah's made a big jump. I think from where he was a year ago at fall camp to where we are right now, in so many different ways. Obviously, wide receiver play, his ability to catch the ball, his demeanor, his ability to lead, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I give Gio a lot of credit on him, man. He is really taken a big step. And then another guy that I'm just so excited to watch him play out this year is Hightower. Has by far played at a level that I haven't seen him play at. Kind of always knew it was there, but he just physically looks different. He's catched the ball extremely well, very coachable, just everything that you want. I think High's done that, and really Pat Bryant has come over and done some nice things. Jonah Morris, Casey Washington. Casey's had a good fall camp as well, so I like that room. I like where it's going.
Were you able to get Sean Miller and T-Rob cleared for this? And get
Yeah,
out
I'm
there
sorry.
and
Yeah,
work
I'm
with
sorry.
the
Yeah, I should have said that.
It's okay.
Yep, Sean passed last Thursday, so practiced Friday, banged him around a little bit Saturday, and he was out there today and did really well. I think Gio was hoping to get him in about 25 plays, so he was there. And then who's the other one?
T-Rob.
T-Raw was not able to go. He did. He worked out pretty good Saturday. He's basically on a progression. So we think tomorrow night he should be able to do. We'll go Tuesday night under the lights. We think he's going to be able to do Indy, and then Wednesday I think he's going to be able to be cleared.
Still same optimism for Luke to be back during game week.
Yeah, I don't have any reason to think Luke will. Because of 110, he can't come back until.
Right, exactly.
And we today had another player, nobody that kind of was it's an incoming freshman that wasn't in a playing rotation that is going to have a minor surgery that'll keep him out for about 2 weeks, so we can replace him this afternoon. I haven't made the final decision, but I will make that call now. We'll replace him with another 110.
Okay. Yeah. Brad Underwood stop at practice today?
I saw Brad upstairs. I didn't get a chance. I think he was up. He's a high-end guy. He's up in the lounge up there. I saw him up there.
I mean, just that he was putting eyes on your guys. Just what's kind of been your relationship over the last 18 months or so?
Josh connected us that first week. We had a couple mutual friends, and honestly, from the first time I met Brad to where we are, it's kind of like same kind of thoughts and philosophies, the way things are run. I've used him huge, especially in that first 12 months, just navigating the way things are and the way they're laid out. But I know he's a big football fan, and he comes to practice quite a bit. His guys pop in. Yeah, it's been a good relationship. And one, I think, the part that I always go back to Josh has always said this. He wanted to, when he, began to talk to me everywhere I've been, people had sustained success in football. But when I got here, I realized, I saw that. I remember Josh talking about that year, right, the COVID year, of how special it would have been in State Farm, and you just couldn't have those crowds. You guys obviously know that. I wouldn't have known that, right? But how awesome it was to have that year, but how special it would have been if it would have been in State Farm. And then to see the crowd there this year, the way they handled and reacted to things, especially that last game against Iowa at home, that was pretty special moment, right? So he's set the standard of what I think we can do here in football, and we work together on it quite a bit.
I know you've been coaching a long time, but this time of year, you still get that kind of buzz and that anticipation for the first game.
Yeah, I think there's a certain level of today. We've been building to this thing, and I tell you, we started our goal process today. I had them list. I think they listed 19 goals, and then we'll come back on Thursday and shorten it down to probably 6. And I told them yesterday, right? Like, one of the things I've always kind of learned as I've evolved, like, I have high expectations, right? But I heard Coach say this one time, Coach Belichick, when I was with him. He said, "I know I have high standards, but hopefully the standards in this room are higher." And that's when he was talking to all of our players, right? And that's certainly the case. I believe in certain things. I want certain things, but I certainly hope that their standards are even higher than mine, because my goal is to try and get them better every day, and the results are what they're going to be able to reap. But I'm excited where this group is, and it's been a lot of fun.
After a pair of scrimmages, how comfortable do you feel with Tommy's grasp of the offense and where he's been so far in camp?
Tommy DeVito?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tommy's done not just the offense, like that quarterback play, it's very unique in the fact that whatever system you're playing in, you kind of take that demeanor, right? And you know, he went to the Syracuse system and what they had done, and that kind of evolved while he was there. So I think to come in and run our system, he's very intelligent. He's got great football IQ, but to learn how we do things and what we do, kind of our approach to early downs, third down shots, red area, like it's a process to learn it. And I would tell you, him and Art work all the time together, right? I think that's what's really cool. And then RJ in that group, and Donovan now is added into that group. Then has really been a nice addition. But I think Tommy, not just our scheme, I think he's learned how Illinois plays, and that's really been the biggest difference the last 2 or 3 weeks, I think.
All good.